Welcome to this research brief on the reinforcement gap. It's a critical and often hidden issue.
So, organizations spend a ton on leadership training. But let's be honest, why doesn't it stick?
The training itself is usually fine. The problem is what happens after the session ends.
The real diagnosis? It's a system failure. We call it the reinforcement gap. This is the gap between what leaders are taught and what they actually do. It's where standards fail.
For remote teams, this gap gets wider, faster. That's because feedback is delayed or even invisible.
And this gap doesn't just sit there. It actually kicks off a whole downward spiral.
Here's how. The gap causes supervisor drift, which then leads directly to culture dilution.
So, what's supervisor drift? It's when leaders just fall back on their own personal habits. And that drift causes culture dilution, which just erodes the shared values of your organization. But look, this isn't a people problem. It's a system problem, driven by predictable human factors.
We call them the phone factors: fear, overconfidence, negative impressions, and execution blindness. Training can't fix these.
So the answer isn't throwing more training at it. The real solution is a system. That system is a leadership execution system, or LES. It's designed to close that gap.
An LES makes consistency a function of the system, not just a person's good intentions.
Think about it like this. Training relies on memory, and LES relies on system cues.
When you finally close that reinforcement gap, you start to see real, measurable results. First, the consistency index shoots up. Leaders are actually doing what they were trained to do. Next, you'll see engagement signals rise because teams are finally getting consistent and fair leadership. And finally, your overall culture health strengthens. Why? Because those shared standards are reinforced daily. So the key takeaway is simple. You cannot train your way out of a system problem. This research is from the video Overcoming Culture Challenges in Remote Contact Centers, an Institutional Guide to Leadership Execution. This brief was published by the Leadership Execution Institute. Implementation is available through Call Center Coach.
Research anchors: DOI 10.5281, Zenado 17394116.
DOI 10.5281 Zeno-Do 17425566. ORCID 0009-0004-6525-5634.